Greetings to everyone. Welcome to NoDQ&A live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. Today I will be answering your questions via twitter.com/AaronRift. You can use the hashtag NoDQVideo or PAIV. I will also be answering your questions via Super Chat. You can also send in a $5 or more Super Chat to become the reigning and defending No DQ Super Chat champion. I will also be taking your phone calls today. Let me go ahead and get started with the questions from Twitter. And by the way, shout out to everyone in the chat room watching right now. I appreciate your viewership and support. If you enjoyed this video, please share it on social media, tell a friend, do whatever you can to spread the word. All right, so the first question I have here is from Jack Jackson, and he wants to know my thoughts on the report about Goldberg rumored to be facing Dolph Ziggler at Summerslam. Now, what's interesting about this is that WWE already announced not Goldberg, but The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler for SummerSlam. And then all of a sudden, Dave Meltzer is reporting that Goldberg will be facing Ziggler instead. We had Matt Riddle going on Twitter and pitching a triple threat match for SummerSlam, which I don't think is going to happen. So what's the deal here? WWE had Dolph Ziggler reference Goldberg several times on television, and that was a little strange. Why would WWE have Ziggler keep mentioning Goldberg? The problem with Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler is that it's thrown together. Besides the Ziggler references, it's just a match put together last minute. If Goldberg shows up on Monday, you literally have 1 week buildup for this match. And right now, fans are under the impression that it's going to be The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. I keep forgetting about The Miz, which really sucks because The Miz has just become a complete afterthought in WWE right now. The guy was red hot on SmackDown a year ago, and now look where he's at. He's pretty much going to be replaced now by Goldberg and might not even be on the SummerSlam card, period. Just really sucks. I think about how much momentum The Miz had when he was a heel, when he was getting in Daniel Bryan's face, when he was feuding with John Cena. You had that WrestleMania match with The Miz and Maurice against John Cena and Nikki Bella. Miz was doing so well, and now poor guy is just completely lost in the shuffle. So for me, that is the big negative of doing this match. Now the positive is that, number one, Goldberg gets to redeem himself from that Super Showdown match. He can come out there at SummerSlam. He'll get a big pop. He can do the classic Goldberg match, beat Dolph Ziggler 2-3 minutes, spear, jackhammer. Fans get to see classic Goldberg one more time instead of what they saw at Super Showdown. You could say it's a negative for Dolph Ziggler to be fed to Goldberg, but let's be real here. In 2019, does anybody really care if Dolph Ziggler gets a push or not? I mean, he's basically enhancement talent at this point. He lost to Kevin Owens in, 18 seconds at the last pay-per-view? To me, it's fine. It's a nice break from the long matches we'll be having at SummerSlam. So if Goldberg just comes out there, we get that nostalgia. We get one more Goldberg match. He gets to beat Dolph Ziggler and perhaps end his career on a high note instead of what we had at Super Showdown. So from that perspective, I see it as a positive, and I'll be fine. I'll be fine with Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler. I just feel bad for The Miz, quite frankly. All right, so now Skype is open, and you guys can call in. If you've never called in before, email me, nodqmisc@gmail.com. I just have a screening process due to the occasional trolls that I get. I like to make sure that legitimate people are calling in with actual questions and not just trying to be a jackass, basically. Feel free to call in if you have my Skype info. If you don't, you can email me and I will set you up so you can call in. Let me look at some of the comments. I would like to, again, give a shout out to the people in the chat room. And keep in mind, you can also send in a $5 or more super chat to become the No DQ Super Chat champion. Or you could just send in any amount if you would like a question asked on the live stream. And of course, you can also tweet me at Aaron Rift if you would like to send in a question for me to answer on the live stream. And of course, I am taking live calls. My Skype is open. So anybody watching this right now, if you would like to call in, feel free to do so. And I apologize if I don't get to everybody. Sometimes I get bombarded with calls. Sometimes I don't. It's really hard to say. It's really random sometimes, but I will try to get to as many people as possible today. We do have a super chat here. The first super chat of the evening from the This Guy Experience with a $5 super chat. So congratulations, the This Guy Experience. You are the brand new, reigning, and defending No DQ Super Chat Champion of the world. He says he is the king of 24/7. He says the king of 24/7 is back, and then he has a question here. Aaron, why do the live streams so early in the day? Also, do you think Kofi Kingston could make it in AEW? I'm doing the live stream right now just because it's a good time for me, and I'm also more energized earlier in the day. I know some people would prefer it to be in the evening, but also this gives the opportunity for people in other parts of the world to be able to tune in. And normally for them, I'm doing these live streams at a very off time. So I have had people tell me that when I do the live streams earlier in the day, it works out for them. I know some people have work and, it doesn't work out for everybody, but changing things up time-wise, it does allow some different people the opportunity to tune in. Have a Smoke and Relax says it's 8 p.m. here in Ireland, so first time I'm able to watch live. So there you go, case in point. And we do have a call here from Tony Braden, so let's answer this. Tony, how's it going?
Hey, what's going on? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Love the beanie.
Yeah, of course, man. You always represent.
So what's on your mind, my friend?
So I had a question about wrestling memorabilia for you.
All right, go for it.
It's a little bit of a different one.
Sure.
I know that I've seen on Twitter and Instagram you posted, I think it was the Benoit action figure with the magazine. It's like one of the only memorabilia you have.
Right.
Is there any others that you have, or is there any others that you've always wanted?
Like wrestling magazines?
Memorabilia in general.
Well, I actually have a lot of old WWF magazines. Actually, they were my dad's magazines, and he passed them on to me. But I do have the very first Victory magazine, which later became the WWF magazine. That was from like September 1983. It's not in perfect condition, but it is in fairly good condition. I would give it a B. I don't know if it's worth anything or not, but to me, it's a really cool piece of memorabilia for WWE just because it was their very first magazine right as the company was starting to go national. Other than that, I really don't have a whole lot. The Benoit thing, I do have the action figure over here too. The last Benoit action figure. I just thought about that like on the spur of the moment when that whole thing went down. I was at the CVS or one of those stores and I just saw that figure there and I'm like, well, these figures aren't going to last long, so I just picked it up when I had the opportunity. But yeah, I really don't have that much.
Okay, that was figured that.
How about you? Anything that you have in particular that you would consider valuable?
I do have old recordings of back in the day recording on the VCR and all that.
Yeah. I used to have a lot of those tapes also. I used to have again, they were my dad's and he passed them on to me. I used to have a lot of VHS tapes and I did have like some of the home releases from the Coliseum video, but I think I gave away most of those tapes just because with the network and everything, they were taking up so much space and I didn't want to transfer them around, so I gave them to some people.
Yeah, I have some old WCW ones. Then I have the original ECW One Night Stand 2005 with Enter Sandman by Metallica. So that's kind of a grail for me.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the call. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
No, not today, man. Just keep supporting the channel as I always will.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
You as well. Enjoy your video, man.
All right. Thank you. Take care. All right, that was Tony Braden. And I guess I'll ask you guys in the chat room regarding Tony's topic there. What would be like one piece of wrestling memorabilia that you have that you would consider to be valuable or you think might have some value? Like, what would be like your most prized item that you think a collector would really want? So if you guys want to share that in the chat room, maybe I'll read off some of the responses from you guys. Now, I have another question here. And by the way, Skype is open, so I will be taking more calls here. Feel free to call in with a question. Again, I do ask that you try to keep it to one topic per call, just because I do want to try to get as many people as possible. And if I have more time later, perhaps you can call in a second time. Got this question here from the Natural Cody. He says, did that senile old man really call AEW wrestling blood and guts? The guy who, quote, killed people on live TV several times over sexualized women, did his fair share of blood and guts just to compete with WCW. Your thoughts, Aaron? Before I get to that answer for your question, my man, Hoof Hearted, just came in with a $5 super chat. So congratulations, Hoof Hearted. You are the brand new, reigning, and defending No DQ Super Chat Champion of the World. And Hoof Hearted says, thought I wouldn't show up yet, did ya? The champ is here. Congratulations to Hoof Hearted for being the new champion once again. Now, to answer Cody's question, Vince will say whatever Vince says because he's the boss. He wants to try and manipulate the audience, manipulate the media. And yeah, it really didn't make much sense what he said, especially when this very week on Raw, literally the show after he made those comments, we had Seth Rollins bleeding from the mouth. I'll get to that more here in just a minute. We have William on the line here. William, how's it going?
What's going on, Aaron?
Not a whole lot. What's on your mind, my friend?
Yeah, I just had a question. Actually, I was wondering just who did Drew McIntyre piss off in WWE? You notice he's been losing to Cedric Alexander, Kevin Owens. He's just been the other guy basically ever since WrestleMania, since he lost to Reigns. What do you think's going on with him?
Oh, man, that's a great question. And there was this talk about him facing The Undertaker. So what a downgrade for Drew McIntyre.
Oh, yeah.
He went from being rumored to face Undertaker to now facing Cedric Alexander. I don't have a real good answer for that other than maybe Vince just gave up on him again. And it's just one of those scenarios where plans change and somebody gets lost in the shuffle and Vince gets tired of one guy and he moves on to the next guy. It's really frustrating, though, because I felt like a year ago he had some legitimate momentum. And
absolutely,
they had a second chance with him to make something out of him. And there were so many opportunities. He could have beaten Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. WWE could have done a storyline where Reigns was, maybe not quite 100% to come back yet. And he could have been on that comeback longer. And then you had the opportunity at the last pay-per-view where Drew could have beaten The Undertaker and then they could have done a singles match, or, somebody could have really made Drew McIntyre. Undertaker could have been that guy, and it just didn't happen. I really don't have a good answer, and I feel like it's just a matter of the company not really knowing what they're doing with anybody right now. I mean, look at SmackDown with Roman Reigns. Like, now WWE's claiming that was some kind of production malfunction. Something with the forklift came loose. Like, I don't even know if WWE's giving up on it. Like, this is the same company, so they can't even do that storyline correctly. I mean, you can't really have much confidence in them to do something with Drew McIntyre. I mean, it's been this way with a lot of guys. It's not just Drew. They've had the talents. They just they give up on them too quickly, or they put them in situations where it's no win for the guy who should be being put in a dominant position, and they're just not given that opportunity. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about it.
Right, I definitely agree with you that he should have actually beaten Reigns at WrestleMania, and maybe had a storyline where Reigns, like you said, wasn't 100% or didn't have it like he used to, and he almost worked his way back up, to the title. Instead of now, they just seem to kind of just have him lingering around, but he still doesn't lose.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Anyways, anything you would like to plug or promote?
Nope, that's it, man. I'll continue watching the stream. Have a good day.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, take care. All right, that was William calling in, and I know Chris Mace tried calling in, so we will perhaps get Chris on here in just a second. Going back to the whole blood and guts thing. Oh, wait, here comes Chris. All right, let's answer this from Chris. Chris, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for calling in. What's on your mind?
Well, I just heard the last callers. I actually just went to lunch break, and he was talking about Drew McIntyre. So what would your thoughts be if they ended up, after this is all said and done with Drew McIntyre after SummerSlam, if they're not going to really do anything with him, why not move him to the NXT UK brand where he could be more relevant there? That probably would be something that would help him out. He can have more competitive matches and maybe even have a feud with the WWE UK champion Walter. That may be a good idea at this point, because they're not really doing anything with him in the main roster. If you're not going to push him to the main title picture, then you got to do something more relevant with him. I think he can help and elevate that brand a little bit more as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility, and I think we talked about that in similar fashion with some of the possible moves to 205 Live when it comes to like NXT guys or guys from Raw or SmackDown, having them go to 205 Live to build the brand up. The problem is that, like, I think if Drew went to UK, people would still complain. They would say, he's not being utilized well, and he's being wasted in NXT UK. So I could still see people complaining about it. But I mean, yeah, if the main roster is too crowded, you could do something with Drew there and maybe just give him a break. If anything, just give him a break to go down there, do some stuff there, and then come back. And the problem is, this is already like his second run, and I feel like WWE should have done this second run better than the first run. And it almost feels like the first run, where he started off strong and then he just fizzled out, and now he's fizzling out again. So yeah, I don't even know if taking him off TV for a while would help, because this was already his second chance at getting that big push,
Yeah, at least they haven't reformed 3MB again. That'd be awful. That'd be a death sentence again.
I mean, anything's possible at this point. Oh, by the way, real quick, Josh Russell just sent in a $5 super chat. Congratulations to Josh for being the brand new NoDQ super chat champion of the world. And he says, "Hey, bud, watching from Scotland. First time watching live, so thanks. What would be your favorite 5 versus 5 Survivor Series match featuring any superstars of all time?" Oh man, that's a loaded question there. I'll get to that here in just a second, Josh. Anyways, Chris, thank you for the call and the question. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
Just support Aftermatch Wrestling, and definitely support 205 Live matters, because like I said, me and Simple Man Noah, we support 205 Live. I know a lot of people don't really watch it as much, but it's a great show and we support it, so try to check it out and give it a chance. Support the Chopping Block with Colin Andrews. He does a great job with the stuff that he does, and always, of course, support everybody else from the NXT team with Cindy G and James and Owen and good brother Chris, and mainly just support NoDQ.com, support everybody that does all the work they do. They put in a lot of time and effort to do all the work y'all do. So, but I appreciate you taking my call. I got to get ready to head back into work, so I'm glad I got a chance to call in.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Chris. Take care, my friend.
You too. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye. All right, that was Chris Mace calling in. So regarding that Survivor Series question, like a top 5 of all time, 5 versus 5. Like, ideally, I'd love to do like WWE versus WCW. So I'd like to do like the top 5 WWE stars. See, it's tricky because where would Hogan go? I mean, I would think he would go on the WWE team, but then you know, the WCW guys would be some of his peers in WCW. So that would be weird. But I would love to do like maybe like a see, maybe I would put Hogan on WCW, like if I was going to do like the Attitude Era, like the Monday Night War period type of thing. But I would definitely want Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, Mankind. Let me see. Steve Austin, Rock, Triple H, Mankind, and Undertaker. So I put those 5 on one team, and on the other team, I'd put the NWO at their peak. So I'd put Hogan, Hall, Nash, Goldberg, and Ric Flair. How about that for a 5 versus 5 team? Just something I completely came up with on the fly. Do that match in 1998. Imagine that match in 98. How crazy that would have been. That would have been a truly epic match if they had done that. But unfortunately, just wasn't in the cards. And WWE did end up buying WCW and could have possibly tried to do something relatively close. Kevin brings up a good point. Sting would have been a good partner for that WCW team. So maybe not Hogan. Maybe you could have put Sting in there instead of Hogan and had Hall and Nash representing the Outsiders / NWO. So that's a possibility. Putting Sting in there. 1997 Sting. Not so much 98 Sting. I think 97 Sting would have been ideal. So before the next person calls in, remember Skype is open, so feel free to call me. Email me if you've never called in before. It's part of a screening process. NoDQ&A@gmail.com. Email me if you are interested in calling in either today or on a future live stream. Regarding that blood and comments thing from Cody, trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say about it other than just I feel like Vince did not put a whole lot of thought process into his comments, which is strange coming from a guy who runs a highly successful company, because Tony Khan himself said that there would not be blood and guts on TNT every week, that they would save that stuff for the pay-per-views. And Vince during that conference call was like, I don't think TNT is going to be happy with them doing that stuff. Tony Khan said they weren't going to be doing it. So yeah, Vince came off hypocritical, came off out of touch, you know. It didn't make Vince look very good with those comments, and especially when right away Vince eats his own words, because you have Seth Rollins out there bleeding from the mouth, bleeding from his guts, basically, on Monday Night Raw. Unfortunately, Mike B cannot call in. He's at work. Sorry to hear that, Mike B. Maybe we can set you up another time on another stream. Let me get to some more questions here. Wait, before I get to that, Colin Andrew with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Colin. Colin says, NXT team in the house, 10-time champion, back to work I go. Thank you so much for the super chat, Colin, and congratulations, Colin Andrew. You're brand new, reigning, and defending No DQ Super Chat European 24/7 Hardcore Champion of the world. Thanks again, Colin. Appreciate it. And thank you to the NX team for repping No DQ. I do appreciate it. Now, I think I had somebody else who wanted to call in here, so let me check this out real quick. And before I get to those other callers, let me get to the next question here from Daza20006. And he wants to know, and this is actually going back to what I was just talking about a few minutes ago. He says, for you, who is the greatest of all time, Sting or Undertaker? Imagine in 97 or 98 WrestleMania main event, that match would have made the winner #1 in the company. Well, I'm not sure if you're talking about like top 5 of, or #1 of all time. I would not put either of them as the greatest of all time, by the way, but who I would rank higher overall? I mean, I think I would definitely rank Undertaker ahead of Sting. I mean, Sting was the franchise of WCW. He was the top player. Undertaker, though, had that longevity. Undertaker, you know, from pretty much the beginning of his WWE career all the way to now. I mean, nobody's really had that longevity as the Undertaker as far as being on top, staying on top, and being in there with pretty much the who's who of the wrestling business. I mean, his first match, he was in there with Ted DiBiase, Dusty Rhodes, went on to feud with Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin, later Hogan, Ric Flair. Undertaker was in there with everybody, John Cena, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, like pretty much all the top stars of all these different eras, Undertaker mixed it up with. So got to give the edge to The Undertaker. And Undertaker would be in my top 5. And I think the most recent one I did, he was in the top 5. All right, Mike B, my man Mike B with a $5 super chat. So Mike B is the brand new No DQ super chat champion of the entire galaxy. And he says, one super chat before I go back to work. Hopefully I can call in next time. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you so much for that, Mike B. And I appreciate you guys tuning in, super chatting, calling. I know a lot of you are on work schedules. I may change it up. I may do a later time next stream. But at the same time, I do want to give the opportunity for people in other parts of the world to be able to tune in. You know, there is no 100% ideal time to do it. I just try to go with a time that also fits my schedule, as well as trying to get different people in. And just give me 1 second here, guys. Sending out an email here real quick, because a few people have contacted me about wanting to call in. So I'm giving them the information, giving them the go-ahead to call in. Let's see here. Let's see what's going on in the chat room right now. Hashtag for Twitter questions is PAIV or No DQ video if you want to send me a question via Twitter. Colin Andrews back. Colin Andrew cannot stay away too long with a $5 super chat. Colin Andrew from NXT Team is the brand new No DQ super chat champion. Do a little bit of NWO strumming the guitar. He says, cannot wait for TakeOver next week. 11-time champ and also reigning NXT Team Predictions champion. Well, there you go. And thank you so much for that, Colin Andrew. Much appreciated. I'm glad you're doing well, by the way. Shout out for that. I'm glad that health-wise you're doing good. Appreciate you tuning in here, taking a few moments of your day to send in the super chats. And saying hi to Noah Foster as well, who's in the chat room. All right, got another question here from, let's see, Mr. Yuck. Mr. Yuck's question is, with Jimmy Uso's constant drinking and legal issues, do you think Jey Uso will get a singles run or push? And before I get to that, Mr. Yuck, Noah Foster, the simple man with a plan, sent in $5. So, Noah Foster, you are the man to beat. You are the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. You are the man who is riding Space Mountain right now, on top of the world. Noah says, and I quote, also, I am the man, the simple man. Hashtag simple as that, and he says, take care all. Thank you so much for that, Noah. Noah Foster now, the No DQ Super Chat champion. So regarding Jey Uso, if I think he'll get a singles run or push, probably not. Unfortunately, he's guilty by association. And I'm not sure if he really stands out enough on his own. I said this a long time ago, like the Usos are best off together. Like they function really well as a team. I don't know if either of them could really stand out on their own as a singles competitor. I mean, they're known as a tag team. They're like peanut butter and jelly. I just don't know if they would work well on their own as a singles competitor. Unfortunately for Jey, if Jimmy Uso got, suspended or something happened to him and he had to be off TV, I think Jey would just not be utilized. I think he would not be on TV and he just wouldn't get any TV time or any kind of push whatsoever. He would end up like like Harper when Rowan got hurt, and then Harper got his injury as well. Or with the Authors of Pain, one guy got hurt. I forgot which one got hurt, but when one guy got hurt, the whole team was pulled. The other guy was not used. I think same thing would happen with Jey Uso. And Colin Andrew, back again. Colin Andrew cannot stay away. He's got that itch to close out today as the No DQ Super Chat champion. He says, Noah, I'm taking that title from the other side of the state. Sorry, buddy. There you go. So one Ohio to another Ohio person. Colin Andrew, once again, brand new No DQ Super Chat champion of the world. He is the man to beat. Colin Andrew. To be the man, you got to beat Colin Andrew. $5 Super Chat will get you the No DQ Super Chat Championship. And you guys can also send in less if you want to just send in a question. Feel free to do the minimum Super Chat, and I will answer any wrestling questions you have. And looks like Mud Pies needs to be put in timeout. Again, my Skype is open. You can send in questions via Skype. You can send in questions via Twitter. Hashtag PAIV or hashtag NoDQ video. That's how you can send in questions in that format. And I do want to do a quick plug for the NoDQ t-shirt store. And there's also more than t-shirts now. If you head over to nodq.com/shirts, there are several new designs up there. Virtue has a new shirt. Noah has a shirt. There's a No DQ, Team No DQ shirt. And also got some other merchandise up there as well. There's a No DQ hat, No DQ long sleeve shirt, No DQ hoodie, No DQ wall decor. There's all sorts of stuff up there. So head over to nodq.com/shirts to pick up a No DQ shirt or some of the other merchandise up there. Oh, No DQ mugs too. So you want to sip your tea slowly like Cindy, you can go ahead and grab a No DQ mug. There's a couple different designs on there too. There's a No DQ Galaxy one, and also just a NoDQ.com logo one. Actually, they may be the same one. I'm not sure, but head over to nodq.com/shirts. You can find all that. And also, I would like to do a quick plug for the meetup coming up in Toronto, nodq.com/Toronto. We are going to have this big meetup prior to SummerSlam. Please RSVP if you plan on attending. And I do have another question here from Twitter via Brandon. He says, why is The Undertaker essentially under a lifetime WWE contract with a new deal? Well, the easy answer is that WWE does not want Undertaker doing anything that is not WWE related. WWE doesn't want Undertaker making any kind of non-WWE appearances. They don't want him doing StarCast. They don't want him doing any of those types of events with other wrestling promotions. They don't want to give the impression that Undertaker is working for somebody else or working for the opposition. So they're locking him down. They're keeping him under contract. And, good for Undertaker. That means he's going to be set for life. He's always going to be collecting a big paycheck on top of what he already gets for royalties. Undertaker's got to be making, just in royalties alone, making more money than 95% of us make in a year. I mean, that guy, just on royalties alone, he's set. And now with this additional money, like the guy, he really doesn't have to work another day in his life. He is going to be set for life, and probably his family will be set for life with the amount of money he's been making. So, he's just looking out for his family, and, he can get paid the big bucks. He's gonna go where he can make the most money. And he was making a lot. Like those financial numbers for what he was getting, those autograph signings and whatnot, the asking price, people were willing to pay him a significant amount of money for those appearances, and WWE, they had to make some big money offer at him to get him to agree to that. But yeah, looks like Undertaker is going nowhere. I wanted to go back and look at what you guys said from that earlier topic about wrestling memorabilia, because I thought that was a really interesting topic. CC Drake said that a WWE Tag Team Championship belt would be the piece of memorabilia, and Mike Mira said a personalized Roddy Piper autographed picture after Piper's Hall of Fame induction. And I was asked a question about where do I think WWE will be in 5 years. That is hard to predict. I mean, I would think that WWE is pretty much going to be relatively in the same position. I mean, their popularity may continue to decline, but maybe, just maybe, AEW lights a fire in WWE. Maybe Triple H takes full control. I mean, I don't think Vince is going to step down, but I mean, if Vince passes away in the next 5 years, that could change WWE drastically. Not sure if it will be for the good or the worse, but it's just so difficult to say where WWE will be in 5 years, because I mean, the business is already changing, and it's changed a lot in just this past year. And, you know, later in October, once AEW starts, things could continue to change very drastically. Very, very difficult to say. All right, so I will stay on here a few more minutes if anybody else would like to call in. Fethdar with a $5 super chat. I believe this is the first time for Fethdar, or maybe the first time in a while. Congratulations to Fethdar. You are the brand new No DQ 24/7 super chat, hardcore European Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion of the world. And he is actually, or he or she, I'm not sure, is forfeiting it to Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar, according to Fethdar, shows up and hits an F5 to win the No DQ 24/7 Super Chat Championship. So Brock Lesnar right now is the No DQ Super Chat Champion. And Fethdar says, hey Aaron, do you think you'll be doing anything like the No DQ panel again? We actually were talking about doing a debate video between Chris Mace and Virtue over 205 Live Matters. So that is something we may end up doing here in the near future, and possibly more panels coming in the future. It's difficult scheduling wise to get a lot of people together for those videos, which is why I haven't been doing very many of them as of late. Anyways, we got Oscar, aka Oofman Rules, aka 556-time Super Chat champion. I'm not even sure at this point. Oscar, how's it going?
We're like 22, Aaron, but I'll take 500. That's cool. How you doing,
I'll take 500 too. Anyways, I'm doing well. Oh, by the way, before I get to your comment or question, Colin Andrews back again. Colin really wants this title tonight, or today. It's still afternoon. With a $5 super chat, Colin Andrews says, make sure to check out the debate between Chris Mace and Virtue coming soon. That's right. That is in the works. So we are working on a new No DQ debate video, and we haven't done one of those in quite a while. Anyways, Oscar, what's on your mind, my friend?
Nothing much, man. Just enjoying this Friday afternoon, watching your video. So actually, my question / comment, whatever, is something that you alluded to earlier. You were asked about your ultimate 5 versus 5 Survivor Series question.
Right.
My question is, as time goes on, I've noticed that Hall and Nash seem to be returning more as, NWO Hall and NWO Nash. My question for you is, in time, and I forgot who said it, when it's all said and done and the smoke is cleared, are Hall and Nash going to be known more for their involvement in WCW with the NWO, and not much so as Razor Ramon and Razor Ramon and Diesel?
Oh, man. So because WWE owns Razor Ramon and Diesel, those two guys, I feel like, well, they're the same guys, but those two characters will get remembered more in history, because WWE, they try to act like they're number one, and all the WCW stuff was secondary. So I feel like WWE will try to rewrite history and say Diesel and Razor were bigger than Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. But realistically, I would say Hall and Nash on their own in WCW, that did more for business and did more to change the business than Razor Ramon and Diesel. Razor Ramon and Diesel were good characters, but they were good characters during one of the lowest periods of WWE business. And
midnight. Yeah.
Diesel was one of the lowest drawing WWE champions of all time when business was pretty much at its lowest point. But then when Hall and Nash went to WCW, the whole NWO storyline changed WCW and business really picked up. So I would say realistically it's Hall and Nash, but I think as time goes on over the years, I think WWE will try to rewrite history and say, oh, Razor and Diesel were these two great characters, and yeah, Hall and Nash were big in WCW, but they were only big in WCW because the fans recognized them as Diesel and Razor Ramon, and it was the WWE star power that made them successful in WCW. So I feel that's how it's going to go down in history.
Right. Yeah, because I feel the same way, because it's Scott Hall went in as Razor Ramon in the Hall of Fame, right? Or he went as Scott Hall.
I don't remember. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I think it was confusing as to how that went down, but I mean there was definitely an emphasis on the Razor Ramon part of his character. I'm sure somebody in the chat room can have a better recollection of that.
Because I wonder, because now, as it's reporting left and right, where I'm noticing for next year's WrestleMania Hall of Fame class, there's a rumor of the NWO, Hogan, Hall, and Nash going in. So I'm thinking, going like, wow, it just seems that they're really pushing Hall and Nash. And then just with the Raw reunion, you figure a Raw reunion, Diesel and Razor were both on Raw, but they came out with the NWO shirts. I sit here going like, okay. So it seems like they're pushing more Hall and Nash NWO than Razor and Diesel. Just, my thought.
Right, and because like when Hall and Nash come out there, like them together, people associate them as the outsiders, as the NWO, and then of course there's the rumor that Hogan, Hall, and Nash are going to go in, and perhaps that's why there was more of an emphasis on Diesel and Razor, like as singles competitors, because Hall and Nash together they associate with the NWO. So the idea is that Nash as a solo would be going in more as Diesel, and same with Scott Hall going in as Razor, and then Hall, Nash, and Hogan could all go in together as the NWO with their real names. So maybe that's also the thought process.
Right, cool. Oh, and one thing about what you asked about sports memorabilia, what I would like is I'm seeing a lot of people have the Winged Eagle belt that's been released, but it has the block WWE letters, and I don't like that logo. I would love to purchase one day, hopefully, a replica of the Winged Eagle, but with the WWF block logos. And I'm a huge Bret Hart mark, and I've met him plenty of times. And I took 3 photos with him that I did in a collage, and I would like to put the belt in a display case with the photo next to him of me and him together. And that's my memorabilia that I would like to own. And I also have a Bret Hart scrapbook through the years of you were talking about the WWF magazine earlier. A good friend of mine, he would give me his old magazines, and I took clippings out. And I should have brought it with me when I met you, but I totally forgot.
Oops.
Anyway, so it's just a big scrapbook of Bret Hart clippings, and I got him to sign it back in 2000, I want to say. And he actually went through each page, and he smiled when he would see the old photos, and it was so cool. So that's my memorabilia.
That's a nice...
Is there anything you have signed that's like that that like it's cherishable for you? It's like you cannot ever get rid of it.
Nothing I could think of off the top of my head, actually.
The Mr. Sacco that hangs on your wall, that's not signed, is it?
Oh no, I was just bought at some random store. Oh, I do have this cup from 7-Eleven. Not sure if this is worth anything, but
yeah, I have an old SummerSlam one with Maria Kanellis, I think, is on the cup. I'm like, it just thinks back to the CM Punk thing of like he wants to be in the cup, and I'm like, I have a 7-Eleven cup with Maria on it. But whatever. Anyway, so and thanks a lot, Aaron. Thanks for taking my call, brother. And I'm gonna just continue watching your show.
All right, have a great night, my friend.
You too, brother. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
All right, take it easy, bro.
Later, bro.
All right, bye. All right, so $5 super chat from Liam Buckland. Power Slam 1, 2, 3 to Colin Andrew. Dethroning Colin Andrew is Liam Buckland. And we got Dylan calling in. 1 second, Dylan. I'm reading off the super chat from Liam Buckland, who just pinned On behalf of the late great British Bulldog, pinned our own Colin Andrew to become the new No DQ Super Chat champion, and he asked me, "Are there too many matches at SummerSlam?" In my opinion, and I would say yes, definitely too many matches, way too many as far as I'm concerned, like 8 tops. Well, for SummerSlam maybe 10, but 14 is ridiculous in my opinion. Anyways, Dylan, how's it going?
Hey, Aaron, what's up?
Not a whole lot. So did you get any AEW tickets today?
No, I mean they've only had a few shows so far. I'm probably gonna wait till they come to Texas till I get my hands on some tickets.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I believe that it's already sold out. I went on Ticketmaster after Tony Kong had publicly said it was sold out, but there's still a few tickets left, but not much. I mean, it's going to be a sellout. So congrats to AEW for selling out their first show. Anyways, what's on your mind, Dylan?
So the big hook for SummerSlam is Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler, huh?
Well, I guess so at this point. I guess that's they got to make up for the Super Showdown debacle.
Well, yeah, if they think they're gonna bring back to their product with something like this, I mean, count me out. Come on, man.
Yeah, well, I guess for some people, Goldberg just coming out there and spearing and jackhammering Dolph Ziggler will be enough. I don't know. I mean, I really don't have a strong feeling that it's going to be anything special, but hey, at least it's a interesting way to kill 5 minutes of time, I suppose.
I mean, man, I know I'm just preaching to the choir here, but man, there is just nothing to be excited for in WWE right now. I mean, Seth Rollins, I mean, he's a great wrestler and all, but as a character, I think the guy's just beyond bland. And, and Kofi Kingston, I never supported the idea of him becoming world champion. I mean, there's just nothing to be excited for. I'm just glad AEW is around right now because that and the G1 Climax in New Japan right now, the only things I'm paying attention to right now.
Right. Well, yeah, SummerSlam, nothing to write home about. When they have it's a sad sign. Like, I mean, if the whole Goldberg thing is actually going through, I mean, it hasn't officially been announced. It's what Meltzer's reporting, so we'll see if that ends up happening or not. But yeah, that's pretty sad that's the best thing that WWE can come up with to get people excited. I mean, Kev Dog in the chat room says Bray Wyatt is the only thing to be excited about, and until they mess him up, of course, and that's kind of sad that.
They're going to.
Yeah, it's like
I'm counting on it. They're going to.
I mean, Bray Wyatt could be this huge thing now. Like it's a breath of fresh air, and it's a really cool look that he has. But how long until they mess it up and it becomes watered down, and he ends up going the way of Drew McIntyre, becoming somebody's lackey?
I mean, at least from what I heard, at least they kind of put him over in that Raw reunion special or whatever. But other than that, I mean. Like, I heard a lot of people complaining that show did nothing for the younger talent, and I'm honestly not surprised. Like, yeah, like that's WWE. They don't know how to build up their current stars.
Yeah, it's a real shame. Anyways, thank you so much for the call, Dylan. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
Sorry, I did have just one question for you.
Okay, go for
it. Okay, so there seems to be I guess a debate in recent years about WWE, or I guess any wrestling promotion for that matter, but champions. Does it matter who's the champion, or does drawing ability still matter in 2019?
Right.
So I want your opinion. Does it really matter anymore who's the world champion right now in WWE at least?
Oh, I don't think so at all. I mean, anybody could be WWE champion. I think WWE would do the same business. I think people buy tickets to shows to see the brand. It's not about who the champion is. It's about the brand. And if the brand is hot, it doesn't matter who the champion is. And if the brand's cold, again, it doesn't matter who the champion is. Like, I would not put the blame on Kofi Kingston as to why business is down. I think it's bad writing and just an overall lack of a solid product, and that's why people are not tuning in. Bottom line, it has nothing to do with Kofi. I mean, I don't think it helps. Like, I don't think putting the title on somebody who fans don't buy into as world champion, I don't think that helps matters, but at the same time, I don't think it really hurts either. I mean, ideally, you would want to put the title on somebody who is hot, but yeah, I don't know what else to say about that other than I just don't think it matters at this point. Maybe more with AEW, because I feel like the Young Bucks are legitimately draws. Like, I feel like these guys are part of the movement. Kenny Omega, like those names, when they're on a card, they're gonna move numbers.
Oh, well, they are. I mean, in AAA down in Mexico, I mean, their tag team match with the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Ray Phoenix, drew like 5 million viewers down in Mexico. I mean, that's pretty big.
Right. And AEW is an untested brand, so it's really it's because of Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny, like those names, people want to see those guys and what they're doing. So that I think is why the AEW tickets have been selling so well, because those guys and Jericho too. I got to throw in Chris Jericho, of course, also. Those guys are moving the numbers. So to a degree, I think there are still draws, but not so much in WWE and the mainstream wrestling right now.
Yeah, I mean, I am inclined to agree with you, but I kind of wish that the titles would mean more. I mean, WWE, they've spent too many years just throwing the world and universal title on pretty much anybody. I mean, where do I begin? The Miz, Jinder Mahal, Jack Swagger. I mean, as good as some of those talents may be, I mean, that to me does not scream a world champion. When I see Kazuchika Okada in New Japan come down to the ring wearing the big elegant robe and the Okada Bucks fall from the ceiling and all the glitz and glamour, and I look at that and I think to myself, yeah, that's a world champion. I don't get that from anyone in WWE right now.
Well,
not since Brock Lesnar back in the Ruthless Aggression era.
Right, and there are a couple guys in WWE that could be in that role, but maybe it's too little too late. And Braun Strowman is one of those guys. Like Braun Strowman, like for me, like growing up, like the world champion was the guy who looked the part. Like he looked like the toughest son of a bitch walking, and you believe that guy is the best. Like nobody can beat that guy, and you don't. Like Kofi's been beating everybody, but you still don't really believe it. It's hard to suspend disbelief with Kofi. As much as I like the guy, he's more of an underdog type of character. Same thing with Rey Mysterio. Like I know people get mad when I bring this up, but I was never a big fan of Rey being the world champion, especially under the circumstances. But in general, just because he's such a small guy, you can't really believe that he's tougher than everybody else on the roster. I mean, he is tough, but he's not going to be able to win the fight all the time because of his size. He's just in a sea of giants. Somebody like Braun Strowman, that guy's going to tear through everybody. So, he should be the world champion, and guys like Drew McIntyre should be his main foes challenging for the title.
That is,
if you can believe in Daniel Bryan, then I think you can believe in Kofi Kingston.
Oh,
Daniel Bryan is the ultimate underdog, but
right. We got Stephen Osborne calling in, so we got a little three-way conversation here. Stephen Osborne from What's NXT.
I've been listening for a minute.
Okay. Any other thoughts, Dylan?
I was just going to say that size in pro wrestling.
Oh, I think we may have lost him. I'm not sure.
No, I'm here.
Oh, no, I meant Dylan. Stefan, since I got you on, I'm not sure if Dylan's still on the line or not.
I was listening to your conversation, and I think you were right about the WWE title right now, but the Universal title, I mean, that's a different story. They put it on Brock Lesnar forever, and he is a believable champion, but nobody was happy about it because he was always gone.
Correct.
And I think that hurt numbers as far as viewership goes. So, I mean, you could make just the same argument from the opposite end.
Right.
Kofi Kingston is a fan favorite. They love the fact that he's always there, and they are booking him strong. So even though he's small, he's resilient, and he's got that kick, that Trouble in Paradise that knocks everybody out. Same with Daniel Bryan. You had him, and he was the ultimate underdog, and he was small, but
Right.
he had that knee,
Yeah.
and he had that submission, and he could win matches.
Right.
And, you book him strong enough, or if the crowd gets behind him, then it doesn't matter how big they are.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And I think a good point Virtue makes is that it was kind of like Jinder in a way where Kofi was in that mid card position for so long, and then pretty much it just flipped, and all of a sudden he's beating everybody, and just it doesn't really make sense logically. Like all of a sudden Kofi could beat everybody when before he was losing half his matches.
Well, the difference is Kofi got the crowd behind him. Jinder didn't. Like Jinder was forced down everybody's throats, and that was half of the reason they hated it.
Yeah.
But Kofi naturally, after that, that gauntlet match that set up for the Elimination Chamber, the crowd just got behind Kofi, and they had to do what they did. Really, they had to. They made all these promises about change, and at WrestleMania, at the very least, they delivered the triple threat of babyface victories.
Yeah,
So,
and then that was what the fans wanted, and then they still complained. Oh, by the way, Colin Andrew, our guy from all the different videos that we have on the channel, Colin Andrew just sent in another $5 super chat. So Colin Andrew is the new NoDQ super chat champion. He says, please support 205 Live Matters, What's NXT, the NXT Party, and my show, The Chopping Block. So yeah, make sure you guys check out Colin Andrew on those various outlets. Oh, and the Caleb Jacobs is back. Caleb Jacobs Experience with a $5 super chat. So Caleb Jacobs just came in to take out Colin Andrew. He says, I had to do it one last time. I'm retiring as a 6-time NoDQ super chat champion, and now he's surrendering the title. It is now vacant. NoDQ super chat championship, vacant. Nobody has it. Stefan, any other questions or comments?
Well, I just wanted to talk to you about the SummerSlam card since we're going to be there.
Yeah.
How longer is this sumbitch going to get? This is becoming a WrestleMania linked card. And sure, it's going to be fun, but I pride myself in peeing before the show and not having to go till afterwards.
Oh, wow.
And this is going to make me have to pick a match.
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge for you. Well, again, like if it's Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler, like I don't see that going more than 5 minutes tops. Goldberg's entrance might be longer than the match, and there may be one or two other matches where they go like 30 seconds or a minute. So I don't. What's interesting to me is that they're advertising just a 1 hour kickoff, which I find really bizarre, especially for SummerSlam. And I don't know if that's going to stick or not, because they got so many matches. I mean, what are they going to do? Just cram 14 matches into 4 hours?
Let's see. If you really tried, you could get 4 matches in an hour.
Yeah, it's too
no video
much.
packages, build up the matches, which means anybody that's just watching the pay-per-view and hasn't watched the product in the last month isn't going to know the storyline going in.
Yeah.
So you're not going to cut those. Some of the matches might be short enough that you don't even really have to count them, but for the most part, yeah, this can be a 5 or 6 hour card.
Oh, well, at least we'll have each other. We'll have our company of each other to get us through the show.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. Going to be a fun weekend for sure. We got NXT TakeOver. We got the meetup. We got SummerSlam. Going to be a crazy weekend. So everybody, as a reminder, come join us. NoDQ.com/Toronto. We got the meetup on Sunday, and maybe you guys will see us walking around the streets of Toronto. It's going to be an epic weekend for sure. Everything but the drive?
Everything but the drive.
Yeah, good luck getting across the border.
Oh, I got my pass card. I'm good.
Okay, good.
That's a piece.
All right, well, thank you so much for calling in, Stefan. I appreciate it. Any plugs?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. Go to NoDQ.com. Stefan, that's STAN. Or if you just want to get Twitter, it's Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the General, my partner in crime, on What's NXT and the NXT Party at NoDQ General, Jerry Slaughter. And join us on Aftermatch Wrestling. That's our YouTube channel, all one word, AFDERMATCH, Aftermatch Wrestling. We're on our way to 100 subscribers. We're at 92. So if you could be the last 8, we're going to start doing What's NXT live on the NoDQ channel. If that offer's still on the table, Aaron.
Yeah. I mean, if Greg Cherry
Yeah.
can do it, why not you guys?
Yeah, at 1,000, when we can finally go live on our channel, we're gonna start doing both shows live, so that's gonna be cool. But it's probably a ways away. Anyway, thanks for having me, Aaron.
Not a problem.
And always go to NoDQ.com/shirt. I have a shirt. It's orange. It's great. Buy it.
All right, check it out, guys. Take care.
All right, bye, Aaron.
All right, bye. All right, and Oofman Rules, who just called in, Oscar, a few minutes ago, sent in a $5 super chat. So now Oofman has claimed the vacant No DQ super chat championship, and he says 23-time champion. And Oofman Rules says, any idea why WWE has not sold out Madison Square Garden for next month? StubHub has tons of tickets for sale, more than Raw, than SmackDown. Well, I think it's just partly because the product isn't as hot as it used to be. And also, WWE does run in New York a lot. They run at Barclays Center quite often. And I know there's a ton of people in New York. I've been there. So I know Manhattan itself is like its own little world. But yeah, I think it's just a sign of the times that WWE is not quite the hot commodity as it used to be. And doing these back-to-back shows, I don't think helps matters, especially when the product is not hot. When you run back-to-back nights, you know, people are going to pick and choose one show. They're not going to go to both. And you look at Toronto, like SummerSlam sold out, but none of the other 3 shows have sold out. TakeOver, despite all the positive buzz that TakeOver has not sold out. I mean, it's a great show. TakeOver is always, I mean, literally every time it delivers. Yet TakeOver is not sold out. SummerSlam is. Again, it's a sign that, you know, NXT, yeah, it's got a great reputation, but it's also more of a cult following. But if you're in Toronto, go to Take. I would say go to TakeOver before SummerSlam. Quite frankly, I think you're going to get a better, more satisfying show. Yeah, Kayfabe Candy says, I think having 2 Rumbles every year now is kind of killing the magic for me a bit too. 2 on the same show. They're talking about the Royal Rumble. But yeah, when they do more than one show in the same city, back-to-back nights, and you know, running the same market on a regular basis too, even though Manhattan and Brooklyn, you know, there's a lot of people in each part of New York. Still, it's gonna lead to less ticket sales. But thank you for that, Oofman Rules, and I think you're gonna end tonight as the final champion. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your calls. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for SummerSlam coverage. NoDQ.com/shirts. NoDQ.com/Toronto. Buy a shirt. Join us for the meetup if you're in the Toronto area. And I will see you guys next time.